We're gonna breathe new life into this when we slather that rich, delicious almondy cream inside and we bake it. This delicious variation of them. You've got almonds and you've got butter, and it works. Hey everyone, I'm Vallery Lomas. Today we're going to be making twice baked almond croissants. This recipe is from my cookbook, Life is What You Bake It. And I love this recipe, first of all, because I love croissants, but this is a great way to take croissants and just do something different with them. And obviously very delicious, but also very simple. And you're gonna see just how easy it is. First thing we're gonna do, I'm just gonna slice the croissants in half. I kind of want them to look like two pieces of bread for a sandwich. So I'm using croissants that I bought at the grocery store. You know, not all croissants are created equal. Some of them, you know, when you break them or try to slice them, you're gonna get these shattery, flaky layers. And some of them are just kind of soft like this. The great thing about this recipe is whether you've got stellar croissants or you've bought them in a bag at the grocery store, or maybe you even made croissants and you didn't quite get that lamination, those would be perfect in this recipe. I mean, look at this. This is a sad croissant. I mean, this is croissant blasphemy. A croissant should not be soft and bendy like this. Now I have these cut, so I'm gonna go ahead and make the filling. It's an almond cream filling. It's the frangipane, which just means it's got egg and sugar and almond flour and a little bit of regular flour. I've got some softened butter, adding granulated sugar, and I'm just gonna use this spatula to kind of beat it together. You could use an electric mixer for this part. I'm keeping it real lo-fi. The quantities are small, and I just love the rustic, simple nature of this recipe. But if you were doubling it or tripling it, you can use an electric mixer. We're making a simple almond cream filling. We're not baking a cake, so you don't need it to be really fluffy or really pale. You just want it to come together and look pretty homogeneous. And what makes this a perfect filling for almond croissants is ground almonds. And I'm adding a little bit of our all-purpose flour and an egg. So it's some pretty basic, simple ingredients that go into this filling. I've got a little bit of almond extract, which is optional when you're making this. You don't have to use it. It gives a very particular almond flavor. It's a little less natural. So I guess it's a little bit more of a manufactured almond flavor. I think when a lot of people have almond croissants, they expect that little bit of almond extract flavor. It just reminds me of the first time I had almond croissants. It was actually my first trip out of the country. I went to the island of Guadeloupe. If you're on a tropical island near the equator, it's really hard to laminate dough. Having an almond croissant is a great way that you get that wonderful bakery goodness, even if you're in a tropical climate. I know that it's ready because it looks like cake batter. That's the consistency that you want for this cream. You definitely don't want it to be too runny, but you want it to be a nice thick consistency that is pretty smooth. Even if there are a few tiny little lumps, don't worry about it. If you had sifted the almond flour, we would have avoided them, but I think that's an unnecessary extra step. And the point of making this is to just enjoy the process, make something delicious. It's time to smear these in the croissants, and then they're gonna go in the oven, and then we get to eat them. I'm going to smear about 1.5 tablespoons inside each croissant and make a sandwich. And remember, we're not gonna use all of the filling in the center because we're gonna save some to put on top, which is also gonna kind of be the glue for the sliced almonds that we sprinkle on top, because almond croissants, lots of almonds. You just kind of wanna paint that filling all through the center of the croissant. And then you take the top and you put it on just like that. And I just have these on a parchment lined baking sheet, which is what they're going to bake on top of. And my oven is preheating at 350. So the last thing we're gonna do is add our almond cream right on top. Take the filling and just kind of lightly spread a little on top. You don't want it to be too thick, and it doesn't have to be covering the entire top. And see, even our little sad croissant is going to be happy by the end of this. It was all deflated, and no one's gonna care once it's slathered and sprinkled with almonds. So my oven is set to 350. I'm gonna bake these in the center rack until they appear cooked on top, starting to get that golden brown color that we love. It's gonna take between 15 and 20 minutes. There's that smell of something that's browning. These are checking all of the boxes. The almonds are a little bit toasty. That frangipane that we put on top is a little bit browned. You can just tell the croissants, they've gotten a little bit hard from baking at that high temp with the filling. These are ready to eat. We just need to let them cool for just a little bit, and we're gonna finish them off with a dusting of powdered sugar. And if you've got the little helpers or even the big helpers, the people who like to come when it's time to frost the cupcakes, now is a good time. They can help with this part. So I just added a little powdered sugar to my sifter and just giving it a nice, beautiful finish. I'm so into this. These look perfect. These look exactly like the picture in the book. I'm just gonna dive right in. I'm not gonna mess around with like a fork or a knife. What? No way. Take your old croissants, make something new with them. It is so worth it. I mean, the flavor is like amazing. Come back and bake with me again. Be sure that you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more videos. All right, see you next time.